I'm prefacing this video to provide context that this video was written and mostly edited back at the beginning of 2023. At the time, I was going through my own personal troubles and I continuously struggled with editing this video and getting it out. With the anime releasing now, I decided to publish it to at least provide my thoughts on the live action adaptation. There will be some minor spoilers on specific plot points, so if you don't want to be spoiled, please stop now. So, what better way to celebrate the new year than by watching the adaptation of the currently running hit manga by one of my favorite artists, Tamaki Wakaki, who created one of my favorite series, The World God Only Knows. That's right, it's Kekkon Tsurute Honto desu ka, which roughly translates to, Are you really getting married? Except it's not an anime adaptation, but live action under the English title, Map for the Wedding. And I have some thoughts, and I need to share them. First published back in 2020, the series praised as the Reiwa-era rom-com about marriage grew in popularity, with Tamaki Wakaki behind it, published in the seinen magazine Big Comic Spirits. It follows two mid-20s employees, Rika Honjoji and Takuya Ohara, at a travel agency organizing tours that live life by themselves. However, a recent announcement to expand into Russia with a current employee transferring over as manager causes things to stir as to who will go. Except employees who have families will be a no-go since you'll be upending multiple people's lives instead of just one. Thus, these two employees concoct a fake marriage to avoid going to Russia, but experience some troubles of keeping it on the down low, while also maybe developing feelings for one another. Now, it should be of no surprise there were some changes to the adaptation. I'm not talking about minor stuff like changing it from Russia to Alaska because of the current war, or the name change of the organization that they work for. I'm talking about the plot and characters. While it is faithful to the characters and who they are, for the most part, they made some changes and added stuff that made me think they were targeting a different audience. As I mentioned before, the manga is published in the seinen magazine, which means older men is a demographic, but it felt to me they were targeting the josei or older woman demographic. Now, there can't be overlap between genders and the fan base, but I do think there's a way they frame the story that orients it to a specific type of viewer. The story is introduced from Rika's perspective as a child, and it mainly focuses on her, while the original story seems to split the troubles between both characters and their co-workers, family, and friends. Of course, there is nothing entirely in that to insinuate that is the direction, as there are plenty of stories targeted towards males with either a heroine as the protagonist or told from their perspective. There are common tropes in shoujo and josei stories that are added into this adaptation that makes me consider it. The manga focuses on Rika and Takuya's relationship as a marriage, where they encounter different types of partnerships and problems that can hamper it, such as finances, living space, work, environment, cultural beliefs, and whatnot. So it's practically set up where we're going on this adventure with the two to show the benefits and struggles of building a marriage. Then, the drama adds a love hexagon into the mix. It was just a thread in the manga, but no, we have to have rivals in this romantic comedy. So, one main addition is the character Osawa. He is an original made-for-drama character that doesn't appear in the manga. He fulfills the role of Rika's mother interfering with the marriage. Instead of the toxic behavior from her bitter divorce being a motivation for this dilemma to trauma dump on her daughter, she tries to situate Rika with this perfect boyfriend in Osawa. Then they make Takuya's childhood friend, Nao, a rival alongside co-workers Komiya and Keisuke, and it just seems so baffling. Mind you, this isn't how it plays in the manga. Nao is Takuya's childhood friend, but becomes a close friend of Rika's who supports her in their marriage. This remains until she reveals she dated Takuya in the past and then acts like a lover to get Rika to accept her own feelings in the drama. Then Komiya's backstory is about being indebted to someone that I won't spoil that involves a couple, which adds to another character's motif about control. Now it's, oh, I've always had feelings for Takuya, which is her motivation. And I feel this contrasts of how they end the series. And then Keisuke, I think they just try to give everyone a happy ending, so they lashed that on as it concluded. Yes. The drama is only one season and is wrapped up with a pretty red ribbon. I don't think they'll have a second season, but maybe they could about the tribulations of newlyweds since that is what happens in the manga, but they time skip to the end in the drama. Either way, the story ends with a female positive image. I do not mind this at all, since the manga talks about this extensively, with working women wanting to have a purpose and not being seen solely as a caretaker, single motherhood being a job in its own right, and living independently. It just seems so ham-fisted of how they present it. Oh, you'll be the first female foreign branch manager. Oh, I love independent women. Oh, women need to be in control, and all this stuff, to the point many of the female characters are the driving force behind this adaptation. Again, because I feel like people will persecute me for this, it may sound like I hate it for my voice. I do not have a problem with female empowerment. I feel it could have been done more tastily to show it than outright say it, because some of the stuff they show, such as with Rika's mother, the love hexagon, and familial expectations, appears to be going against that messaging, which is problematic for me because Tamiki Wakaki is one of the most progressive manga artists out there currently. People praise Wakaki in his series, like all of them, for being innovative. Archetypes are their own characters, anyone can be an idol, and marriage comes in different forms. In fact, that last point is something I like about the drama because they don't just adapt it, but expand upon it. Wakaki explores multiple avenues of marriage, whether it be straight marriage, gay marriage, divorce, single parenthood, remarriage, living abroad, and so on. Whereas the manga is currently exploring with the couple finding their own place with all the stuff attached to it, such as family proximity, work location, environment, pricing, community, education, etc. The series focuses on them being a married couple with their own lives. Like they have their own housing, their own lifestyles, and their own personal space. But they share it with one another that makes them a couple. They decide to live apart but still be married. It isn't some divorce situation, but a decision they make together that matches who they are. So I appreciate the avenue they took to end the series this way. It ends with them confronting their parents, whom both consider controlling and intervening about their paths in life. While I didn't enjoy the introduction of Osawa, I do think his appearance is to set the new era from the old. As previously mentioned, women were expected to be married and become a caretaker, live life cozily while raising a family. It was the parents' responsibility to find a partner for the child, with the child having little to no say on the matter. So Ritsu's meddling with Rika's love life could be seen as a metaphor of tradition and old ways. Thus, Rika deciding to be independent is going against that, which is why the series is touted as a Reiwa-era love story. Something else I enjoyed is that the show displayed so many locations of where the characters visited. It truly did feel like a travel documentary to share all the locales and vistas to maybe incite viewers to visit there. Wakaki drew stellar backgrounds for these shots that made you stare in awe, and I think the director wanted to do that with so many panning shots. Definitely fit for a series set in a travel agency, so I think it's a great series. Although I don't agree with some changes, they are understandable even if some might clash with the themes of the work. It tells a complete story that anyone can enjoy. While I think they intended to aim it towards a female demographic, I do believe as it reached the climax, it begins to feel like something that is intended for everyone. Let me be clear, there is a difference between intention and enjoyment. Anyone can enjoy the series, but I think leaders in the staff production thought aiming it towards a female audience would be more profitable for them. After all that, I recommend watching the series, especially if you're like me, a late 20-something who can't communicate well for the life of me and am struggling to find a purpose in life with a degree in education but can't get a job. Both characters struggle with speaking about their feelings and thoughts with people, and I can't help but relate immensely. Seeing them struggle in their work and social lives to come out on top in the end is reassuring. Even though I don't know where I will go in life, the next step is always a new adventure. Thank you for watching.